Hey everybody, happy Monday, or not so happy Monday, I guess, because it's Monday, right? Um, all right, let's get right into it. I hope everyone's doing well, even though it's Monday. I'm gonna start with this deck today. Let's see what's going on. Oh my god, that flew right at me. Rude. Okay, that one flew out first. Exhaustion, loyalty. One more. Trapped. Okay. So we have exhaustion, depletion, drained, long journey, loyalty, trusting or liability, believing, and trapped, stuck, tied down, captive. Let's get one for this exhaustion. I immediately, oh geez, of course. So, I was gonna say, I was immediately feeling this as someone who is literally feeling exhausted and trapped by their constant loyalty to someone. And then we get the twin flame under exhaustion. So, twin flame, mirroring, shared feelings, reflections. And it's so funny for this to come out under here where it says long journey, because truth. I think this collective, you are at a point where you're kind of exhausted by, like I said, the loyalty that you're having towards someone. I was moving on to clarify why, but I can see why if you think you're in a twin flame dynamic and you're getting exhausted and feeling trapped by kind of staying. It's more like feeling like I've. I mean, we'll get. I'm gonna get more obviously, but it's giving me the feeling of a collective who has been on this journey for a long time or thinks they've been on it for a long time, and you're kind of wondering like you're either we'll get more, but you're either a collective who is still excusing everything your who you think your twin flame is doing because of the label and feeling stuck and exhausted by your loyalty to it because it's not going anywhere, which would make sense. It's not going anywhere if you're stuck on just the label and not actually doing any healing and just excusing everything they do, thinking that that's unconditional love. We'll get more. But, or you are literally exhausted with just the whole journey itself and your loyalty to it, wondering, like, because it feels stuck, right? So let's get one for this loyalty. Return. Second chance, opportunity, making amends. Okay. Let's get one for trapped. Because this is feeling more like the deviation of I don't know. It's feeling more like maybe a separation because of return. Or it is the deviation of like you're always loyal to their return is what I'm hearing. Like it's every time they come back, it's like you just excuse whatever was done because oh they're back, so if they're back that must mean it's twin flame time. You know what I mean? And it's like I think the loyalty to them right now is not. I don't think this collective is seeing it quite right. But we'll get more and trapped, you got silence. Frozen, no words, stone wall. Trapped and in silence. So I am feeling more like this is, again, the type of collective who you and don't make it fit. And this isn't, again, I say this in so many of my readings, this is meant to be confronting or hurtful or accusatory. It's just, it is what it is. We don't learn anything if we don't face it and heal it and admit it. And it's not to be, to make you feel ashamed or anything negative, really. It's just awareness. And we all have our stories and our things that we need to become aware of. So I feel like for this collective, one of the things right now that you're being urged to be aware of is that what you might be seeing as unconditional love and this loyalty by, every time this person kind of takes off or runs or whatever, when they come back, you're always like, hey, like nothing was wrong, and you excuse them just ghosting or whatever they do. That's part of this cycle that you're getting exhausted by. It's like you just continue to excuse it because you think that's what you're supposed to do to make this true. It's like, well, if they're my twin flame, I would love them no matter what. And it's like, well, you can love them no matter what and still stand up for yourself and not excuse or enable their behavior that doesn't make you feel good, right? It doesn't mean you don't love them, but you're not going to excuse. If you keep excusing it, they'll keep doing it, is what I'm saying. And that's not the point. At the point of that happening so many times is for you to walk through the flames enough times that you finally say, okay, enough is enough. I'm going to see myself now. I'm not going to excuse what they're doing anymore. They have to see what I'm seeing, what I've been doing, how I've been allowing this and enabling it. So I'm going to stop, and hopefully they will see what they've been doing to me. You know what I mean? And I do feel like there's something about not only this trapped and silence being like I'm describing, like you never say anything to them, like they come back and you act like they didn't do anything to you, like you were not hurt, like it's fine as long as they're back, right? I feel like that's kind of where that silence comes in, like you just want them to be back, so you're not going to ever bring up how they hurt you when they leave. But I also am feeling something about maybe separation here right now, so I'm going to keep going and get a little bit more. Let's get another one for this exhaustion and twin flame. Obsession. Okay. Like I said, I think this is confirming. Infatuation, adoration, addiction. This collective, like I said, don't make it fit. You would be struggling, I think, right now with something to do with either wanting to reach out to them or just this feeling, literally like I described, of like if I don't do anything, they won't come back. And if they don't come back, then they're not my twin. You know what I mean? It's like I think you're just a little, you haven't quite gotten to the point in your journey, if you believe you are truly on this journey and you're spiritually activated, you're trying to heal, you're becoming self-aware, you know what I think you're still a little bit at the point where the label and the outcome of it is too much of a focus. I just think the perspective of it is a little off for this collective right now, believing that obsessive feeling is your intuition towards them, when really it's part of your shadow that you're meant to kind of fight and heal, not to be obsessed with a person in that way where you feel like, oh, if I don't reach out, if I don't talk to them quickly, if I don't do this, if I don't do that, they're not going to ever talk to me again. That's part of what you're supposed to heal in this. sovereignty, right? Loyalty in return. Conflict, clashing, differences, incompatibility. So exactly, there's still, no matter the conflict, you are still just so loyal to them returning when they do. It's like you'll excuse any conflict, any incompatibility, any differences. It's like you don't even want to try to attempt bringing them up to work them out because you think it'll just make them run again. And I just feel like this obsession, you just want them to stay, so you think by doing whatever they want and ignoring everything you feel that you're afraid is going to scare them away, you think that that's going to make this better. But no. You're going to hurt yourself but I mean, this is a shitty part of the journey, excuse me, but I think it's a necessary and common. I mean, I think everybody who goes through that journey, I think, has to experience this. So I don't want you to feel like, oh my God, I'm doing something wrong. Or no. You just have a part you have to get over right now. This is just the next step, right? Trapped, silence. You just have to see yourself better. Lusting, yeah. So right now, I think this collective, part of what keeps you holding on in this obsession is you clearly have some kind of strong, lustful, sexual pull towards this person, or maybe a bond. Maybe you've already, but that's what keeps you trapped in your silence. I think that's a big part of why where this obsession comes in, which if you have been together, I'm not surprised. I feel like if you believe you're in a twin flame dynamic and you believe you met your twin in the physical already, and you actually have physical contact, I feel like that could be even harder to get out of this place because you've already had that kind of closeness, that feeling, right? You've already shared such an intimate part of yourselves with each other that I understand how that could make things so much harder, but holding on to that and telling yourself things like, if I don't keep letting them come back, they're just going to find someone else and someone else is going to get that. You cannot let that be a focus here, because this is not I'm like, I get it, but it's not, it kind of has to be out of the picture in order for you to heal and to focus on yourself. And because you can't focus on yourself if you're lusting after someone else, right? You need to kind of lust after yourself a little bit. Not in a weird way, but but you know what I mean. I just feel like for this collective, I think this is a big reason why this obsession and this loyalty to them returning every time, no matter what, is because there's something with you guys having already been very close, okay, we'll say. And unfortunately, I think this is a big factor in what keeps you kind of stuck in not wanting to stand up for yourself, I guess. One second, let me just see what deck I want to get next. Okay. I feel like I want to get like what this person on your mind's triggers are, like what their, let's see. I'm going to get this shadow deck first. I'm also staring at my tarot deck for, maybe I should get tarot first. Let's see what's going on in this dynamic right now. is going on between you and the person on your mind right now? Or situation. Excuse me. Okay. Interesting. Okay. It's really funny that you have Six of Swords and Six of Wands here. And of course, obviously, when either one of those are upside down, they become each other, right? And 69 is a 20 number. But anyway, because this is, for me, Six of Swords in reverse is kind of describing, and these two together, all I can think, Six of Swords in reverse, sorry, is to me, it's like kind of resisting. It can be resisting help, resisting, other people's assistance or outside advice or opinions. But the way I feel it in my readings is it's like resisting starting that healing journey. Because for me, in upright, as you can see, it just feels more, or it indicates like letting go, trusting in that healing journey, letting the past, stay in the past, not really trying not to look back. It's kind of like just trusting and starting that like healing spiritual journey. That's what this card is for me. But in reverse, it's like you're resisting that. You're kind of like you're keeping yourself stuck in the past. And I really feel this card, usually Six of Wands, is a card of like it could be a card of someone who is on social media, but because that's how I've allocated it, not because that's what it means in general, but it's also a card of, it's like it's like victory. You want to show off what you can do, what you've done. You're getting praise, you're getting attention. It's like I'm gonna get one more because for these to come out together, when I ask what's going on between this dynamic right now, the only thing I keep thinking is it's confirming that they're resisting the healing because of the attention, of when you have the attention, right? That feeling like you're winning, but it's like you like every time they come back, you're like, oh, I knew they would. It's like, yeah, see, look at me. But then it's like, oh, but then they're doing the same thing again. It's like, wait a minute, I thought we were past this. You came back, and it's no, it's just repetitive. Two of Cups. Okay, so I do think that. I mean, obviously, if you see this as a twin flame dynamic, I really feel, well, not obviously, because sometimes that label can be a very, I have my thing about the label itself. But anyway, I think you guys do really see, because for this to be going on in your dynamic right now, I do feel like there is a harmony between you, like a spiritual bond, like that kind of and like I said, I don't think that feeling isn't there, and I don't want to invalidate those deep feelings, but I think right now, like I said, the fact that you have already been physical with this person, and have heard of or believe you're on this kind of twin flame journey, that it just makes things, no, because you feel this in, like, you know what I mean, you feel it, but you can't balance it excuse me, properly. I'm surprised it didn't actually come out in reverse, but I think this is more showing that you guys recognize that there is, or at least you recognize that there is that kind of harmony between you, but it's like I feel it as holding on to what that idea more than anything. and just hoping that that will be enough for you to not have to do this. And yeah, I don't think so. Seven of Cups in reverse. Seven of Cups. I mean, I, yeah, definitely. Yes, blocked by indecision right now. That's what this card is, but I feel like it's because of this. It's like, because this can be like overwhelm and fear of making the wrong choice, and that's why you feel blocked by indecision, because it's like like I said, it's that it goes back to that feeling of, well, if I don't respond, if I don't answer them now when they're back, what if they just never come back again? What if I lose my chance right now? And it's like, well, if they have to walk through these fires the same as you do to heal, you have to keep getting burned by them doing what they're doing, running, coming back, running, returning, running, returning, until you finally do make a decision to stop and trust and heal and focus on you, and then trust that they will be inspired to do the same. This journey is about trust, surrender, and self love. It's about the self more than anything else. And I feel like that's where this collective is like not liking this journey. It's like it doesn't make sense to you that you should have to give them up in order to have them, right? That's where I feel like this collective is at right now. Like it doesn't make sense to you that you have this bond, you have this connection, you can feel the harmony, you can see like the how they make you feel seen too. I feel that like how they make you feel seen. But you're like, why would I give that up and risk never having it back? Like I think you're just at that point of your journey right now. And I understood. I get it. So let's see. Okay. Let's see this person's shadows right now. What is keeping them? Actually, we're going to do both of you. We're going to see what's bothering both of you right now and see who, like, where we get more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to allocate that the Path of Shadows deck is the person on your mind, and this deck here is collective, you. Okay? So we'll see what we get here. Oh, something flipped. Another one flipped. You know, it's funny. I think I've said this before, but sometimes I feel like the ones that flip inside the deck are ones that we haven't quite admitted to ourselves yet. We don't quite see yet. Where did that freaking card go? And we got this one that was in the deck. I had another one flip. There it is. Hold on. Sorry. I had more than one flip. Let's do a quick check. Make sure I didn't miss any. I don't think I did. Okay. All right. So we've got 3 for this collective and 2 for the person on your mind. It's funny. You both got birds. Anyway. All right. And it's funny that the person on your mind got two birds, raven and owl, and these cards say knowledge, death, energies, and wisdom, shadows, deeper truths. So your cards, you got the mirror effect, What frustrates you in others is a reflection of something healed within you. The guilt trap: release unnecessary guilt. Self blame keeps you chained to cycles of suffering. I think when I see this card, when I read that, I feel this in not feeling guilty for, like, I feel like this collective, when every time you let this like it's when you let this person back in, part of it is because, like I said, you're afraid and you feel guilty, like if I don't show them I care, that they're back and that I'm happy, like there's a thing of guilt, like if you turn them down or push them away, that you feel guilty for making them feel unwanted and stuff. But I hate to say it, but what are they doing to you by doing what they're doing, right? And I'm not saying retaliation, but if you really think you're on that twin flame journey, that mirrored effect is that's just something they have to feel too. They have to go through. That's just part of it, and you don't have to feel guilty for that. The perfectionism trap: seeking flawlessness leads to self-sabotage. Embrace progress over perfection. Okay, so for this collective, the things that you need to focus right now, your shadows are this guilt that you feel over even the thought of maybe ignoring their messages or telling them enough is enough, or that you need time, or like whatever it is, letting go of that guilty feeling for it, like being so worried about hurting them, what they're gonna think, what they're gonna do, because of the mirror effect. It's funny, when I was saying that about I didn't even, like, I read it already obviously, but it didn't. I'm such a dum dum. Anyway, you do have to see the, and maybe you don't know as much, because like I said, if you're kind of like at the place that you're at, maybe you need do some reading right on the journey, and you'll see how the mirroring thing, like there's something where I feel like this collective, you're really like fighting that, like the fact that they might have to feel what you felt, because this, I don't think you want them to, which makes sense. I get that's beautiful. You don't want them to feel these things that you feel because of them sometimes, but like I said, if this is what you believe it is, and even if it isn't, the only way they're ever going to be able to heal doing that to you or anybody else is by somebody saying no more, right? And letting them feel the weight of their decisions and choosing whether or not they want to heal it or do it to somebody else. But anyway, sorry, this collective going through trying to release the guilt, and not only accepting that kind of mirrored aspect, but there is something in here. What frustrates you in others is a reflection of something unhealed within you. So if there's things that I don't know why this is coming up in my head right now, but I feel like this collective, there might have been something recently that happened that made you kind of like, ugh, like with someone else's relationship, and not realizing that what you have the ick about with someone else is actually part of what you're accepting in your own relationship. So that's an important detail there. So this collective, if you've just had a thought of like, ugh, towards a friend's or family member or somebody else's relationship, even if it's just something you saw online and you were like, ew, what's wrong with this person? Why are they so obsessed? Why are they so this? Why are they so that? There's something in that respect where you kind of might need to point the finger back at yourself and see just how you might be doing that to yourself. But not trying to be perfect. Like I said, this collective, you're trying so hard to be what you think you need to be to skip the healing. It's like, if I just accept everything they do, eventually they'll see how much I'm there for them no matter what, and they'll change. And that is just not how that's gonna fly. I'm gonna be real. So you have to stop trying to be perfect and just be you. whatever that means for you, and speak up. See yourself and embrace the progress that it's going to take over the perfection of the relationship, or of who you think, what you think it should be and you should be. It's never going to be perfect. You're never going to be perfect. They're never going to be perfect. But you can always grow. You can always progress. And I think, stop focusing on trying to be what you think you need to be in the end stop, and focus on what you need to be in the moment. And then with theirs, for their shadows, knowledge, death, energies, wisdom, shadows, deeper truths. Excuse me. They obviously have not had their awakening yet. That's how I'm feeling this energy. Because the shadows they still have to face are the ending of cycles, the understanding the energy, the knowledge of the journey itself, of why, and this deeper truths, like understanding the knowledge of the deeper truths of what this is really about, what your bond is really about, waking up to what they've done. You know what I mean? They haven't had that yet, and I think that's where these two shadow aspects come in. They are still, especially if they're still running. You know what I mean? They haven't seen themselves yet. They haven't, and they can't have this. Okay, in all brutal honesty, they can't get to this point until you stand up for yourself and see yourself and kind of let go of the label and the outcome. Because if it is this, you can't do anything to make it not this. You can only prolong it. And prolonging it by trying to be what you think you'll be in the end stop, just totally forgiving. It's not about being totally forgiving of everything. It's about communication when things like that go wrong. No one running, no one blaming, no one, healthy conversation. You guys aren't at that point yet, because this person's still running, you're still clinging, trying to just soothe everything for them, and they'll never be able to do that for themselves. But you need to do it for yourself first in order for this to even come to them. So I think this collective, what you're being called to do right now is kind of, I don't want to say separate, but because I kind of feel like there already is a separation here, but focusing on you. I probably say that in every reading, but it's the truth. The more you have to put the focus and the effort into you before you can put it into something like this, that just with cycles and belief systems, facade, conditioning, expectations, conformity, evaluating long-held beliefs, awakening. So exactly, this collective, you are being called to, I think, revisit your expectations and this conformity that you think you have to the journey, and reevaluating the long-held beliefs you've had about how you have to be in this, and having your awakening, having your moment of, wait a minute, enough is enough. It's time for me to choose me and see myself. It's funny that I just mentioned awakening, and there's awakening on that card. What else is this collective being called to do right now? Guess another one. Okay. Guarded, vulnerable, holding patterns, security at all costs, blocked heart chakra. That's what you're doing. That's just further confirmation that that's what this collective is going through right now, and something that needs to be healed, needs to be looked at a little closer or a little differently. Not that you should be thinking, oh my God, like that. Having empathy and wanting to not hurt people, or wanting so badly to just show them that you understand where they're coming from, like, that's not a bad thing, right? But when you start sacrificing your own voice, your own presence, your own authenticity, just to keep them comfortable so they won't run or whatever, you're not seeing yourself. You deserve to you your feelings are valid. Your thoughts, like, you are valid, and you shouldn't ever be made to feel like you have to continuously make yourself smaller in order to be in the presence of someone else who isn't putting in the same effort as you are, right? So this security at all costs, you're securing this relationship, sure, but you're not progressing it. Does that make sense? The right collective, it'll make sense. Fears and illusions, limitations, anxiety, comfort zone, overthinking, negative outlook, confirmation. This is what this collective needs to work on. Stop not believing that if you stand up for yourself, this person will never come back. If this is a real twin flame dynamic, you truly believe that in your heart, that's what you feel. You standing up for yourself is going to ultimately give them the strength to stand up for themselves. That's how that works. Your threads are connected, right? As you heal, you inspire them to heal. Not through words, not through, like, just energetically. That's just how that journey works. It has nothing to do with the things that you're saying, the things that you're like, interacting with each other. It has everything to do with the energy you're embodying. Healed, not healed, in control. It's energy, right? So if you're in the energy of choosing yourself, focusing on you, healing things, having that awareness, forgiving yourself, even, like, letting go of that guilt, seeing why things had to happen the way they did, seeing the purpose and everything. It's all of that. You start doing that, and then they wake the F up. Eventually, everybody's journey is different from, everything that I've seen. Some people, it takes a really long time to, I feel like, especially if you've had physical contact, it's going to take a lot longer, in my opinion, to get through that. So I feel for you if this is the case. If it's not, no, I have to stick with I feel like this collective you would have had, because I feel like it's so hard, literally obsession, like, it's so hard for this collective to let go of that kind of connection with just blind faith. So I get it. But again, it's part of this. It's part of it. So you're not doing something wrong by, you're doing what you're meant to do. No, and it sucks. There's no sugarcoating. It sucks. Ace of Fire, passion, new starts, attraction, creation, desire, new venture or job, action. So I see this right now for this collective. In order to, so I feel like this is further confirming, in a funny way, of there being some kind of separation. I know I didn't get a card of separation. I don't even know if I have a card of separation, but I feel separation in this dynamic right now, because I feel like there's something where, like, maybe they're about to come back, and your loyalty in that is about to be tested. And maybe your collective was even at a point where you're wondering, like, why aren't they back yet? Why aren't they back yet? And that's why you're kind of looking at readings and trying to see, you know what I mean? So if you're finding this one and this all fits, I feel like is a call for this collective to stand in your power, stand in your truth, right? Your authenticity, stand up for yourself. If and when I should not if when they come back. And I'm not saying you have, by no means ever would I ever suggest that anyone has to be cold or mean or ruthless or just negative when kind of telling someone enough is enough. It's not about being mean or cutting, it's just about being honest. This is hurting me. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to step away for a while. That's all it takes, right? You don't have to cut them off in a malicious, angry way. Doesn't have to be any anger. It's just truth, right? And I feel like, again, even that is something I think this collective would have a hard time doing with this person. And I get it. But this, doing that and focusing on something else, focusing on a new passion, right? New start, attraction, creation, something that I feel like there would have been, for this to come up, for this collective, there would have been something that you just stumbled across, whether it be something to do with your spiritual path, like candle wax reading or scrying or tarot, or I feel like there's something, or maybe it's just a creative outlet. Maybe you just got into photography or something like that. It's like there's something that this collective would have just recently stumbled across that ignited a passion inside you that is like in your very soul. Like, oh, yeah, I like something that you want to dive into more. Something that's kind of almost equal to, not almost equal, like I feel like whatever it is, it's been enough to kind of distract you a little bit from this, because you've been like, oh wow, this makes my soul happy, like this is what I want to feel. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you're still wondering about this person, when they're going to come back again. But whatever this is, even if it is a new venture or a new job, there's something that this collective has just come across or learned of, or been offered or something like that, learned more about, that literally made your soul sing. Whatever that is, focus on that. Put all of these emotions, thoughts into that, instead of trying to make them fit into this, you know what I mean? Instead of trying to soothe them with old habits. Whatever this new thing is, dive into that and focus on you in that way. Put all of this into this, whatever this new thing is. Because I'm telling you, it will help. Even if it's, and I always recommend journaling. I really do, on a healing journey or just in general. I can't say enough how valuable I feel like journaling, or somehow logging your experiences, your feelings, your thoughts, your emotion. I just, it's invaluable. Okay, in learning about yourself and healing things. So okay, this collective, we're gonna wrap it up here. Focus on whatever has just lit up your soul that you've come across, and try to understand that this journey, as romanticized and whatever people have tried to make it, which is part of why I have such a hard time talking about it sometimes, because I don't feel like the label is always the healthiest thing in a dynamic, unless there's some spiritual or healing aspect between the two people. If it's just obsession, anyway, I'm not going to get too far into my opinion, but I feel that the twin flame dynamic label can be more detrimental to someone sometimes if it's just the label. It's not, yes, it's a magical, beautiful, incredible thing, right? But it's not about finding true love and having your happy ever after with it's about finding your inner sovereignty, your inner union, your yin and yang, right? Your balance. And then, as my favorite reader likes to say, the toppings on the cake after you ice it with your self-love and your worth is that person who complements everything that you are. Together you complement each other. You don't complete each other. You don't need each other to survive and live and see your worth, right? It's just you guys complement each other in the end. It's nothing about this obsession or lust. It has nothing to do, that those are just added bonuses, right? The true purpose of this journey is to find your inner balance, your sovereignty, your path, your purpose. It's for you. And this person, if it's the real journey and they do their part, because remember, well, not, I shouldn't say remember, they don't have to. Just because you're in a twin flame dynamic and you do your part, that doesn't mean they will or have to. There's still free will. So if they choose, and I'm not going to go into all this right now because I'm no expert. I'm not going to pretend to be. I read a lot. I will just say that. Okay. Anyway, this collective, stick with that passion right now because that's what's going to help you the most. Is putting the focus on this, on you, on that feeling that you get when you're doing whatever that new thing is, because that's the feeling that you're going to feel more and more and more and more of as you see you. And that's going to become addicting. Once you start letting that feeling in instead of this fear and this obsession and this clinging and worrying about the outcome and this label, whew, those feelings of whatever this brings you are amplified times a billion. Okay? All right. I hope everyone has a great day. I love you guys and bye.